Hello, survivors of the apocalypse and veterans of Atom RPG. Welcome back to Trudograd. We've got a lot of good stuff. We are done with the police station. We came back here to the rooftop, the second level. I'm selling a lovely house by the pond. Yeah, we are actually going to buy that one. So we had a little peek last time, but let's firstly go into the library, or rather the bookshop, because you know, education is the most important thing. Hello Ripkin. The bookseller is rapidly studying his handkerchief. When he notices us, he shivers uneasily and tucks it away in a pocket before addressing us. Hello again, can I help you? Well, you know, like, why would you react like that? But well, I wanted to ask you all manner of questions on a variety of topics. I'm listening. Well, do you know any new gossip? Well, same as anywhere else in the city, but don't let idle rumors distract you from what's really important, comrade. Ah well, then let's just barter. Okay, so this here, old diary, partially preserved diary from the NEP era, surprisingly time resistant, bound in leather and brass plates. The Flames of Revolution, number 6, on pistols and SMGs. Yeah, well, let's have that. Fortunately, we have the money, so we can actually have everything. Oh, he would not accept the Black Lotus, huh? Which is actually rather expensive. I wonder, like, how a junkie who's addicted to that stuff, how someone would make enough money for that. And then number 7, the shabby magazine can teach you how to better use throwing weapons. Oh yeah, that's good. And then the Thug Life, a modern magazine from the distant Ost-Azursk, which can teach you some subtleties of first aid. Oh yeah, nice. Thug Life, number 21. I wonder what is going on with number 20. This relatively recently published magazine from the exotic city of Azursk can teach something new about automatic firearms. Very good. Rivlin Stories, number 1, A Fateful Meeting. This book about the famous mutant hunter can teach you the basics of using melee weapons. Well, why not? Because we like to be a skill monkey, right? And this one here, A Nightmare on Lenin Street, Rivlin Stories, number 2. This book about a folk hero and mutant hunter, Rivlin of Silesia. Or Geralt. Well, can introduce you to the secrets of martial arts. Nice. That's 3,400 rubles. Very good. Old diary, partially preserved. Let's have it as well. 3,800. And he only wants good old rubles. There you go. Have them, and we still have 8,000. And that, my children, is the reason why you want to be careful with your money, so you can then invest it properly. There we go. And maybe, like, how about we put on the beret? That seems to make us more intelligent in certain situations. And then let's read this one here. The Flames of Revolution. Pistols, SMGs. Using Flame of the Revolution magazine, issue number 6, Memoirs of Vasily Kolotushkin on the Civil War and Brigade Commander Vlad Turbin, Part 1. These events took place in the early spring of 1919. The snow had already melted, turning roads and fields into greasy mud. Not even a cart could move on the muddy roads, sinking to the axle after moving only a few meters. Only I, Vasily Kolotushkin, and my brigade commander Vlad Ivanovich Turbin were able to travel freely. Like proud cranes, we soared over the forests and steppes aboard an airplane provided on the personal orders of Comrade Lenin. Not just out of fancy did we fly, but for a very good reason. Our goal was to reconnoiter the positions of the White Guard. For there was a rumor going around concerning the transfer of 5 armored cars given to the counter-revolutionaries by French imperialists. Of course, the brigade commander could have sent a few scouts to accompany me, but it is one thing to see what the enemy is doing with one's own eyes, and quite another to look at blurry pictures from the division's only camera, which, according to our commissar, was once used to photograph King Nebuchadnezzar himself. Well, that is certainly some important information, right? By the way, this sounds like the time after the First World War, and that is also covered with a rather interesting game, The Last Train Home. You can also find that on the channel, Playing Hardball, if you want to have a peek. And that's actually also like on my list to play at some point, because that looks pretty interesting. And it's also interesting as it covers Eastern Europe. Yeah, and as you know, I'm German, so I'm living in the middle of Europe, Central Europe. And that part of history and also the part of the world has been neglected. Yeah, in our media and in our history lessons. But I mean, on the other hand, like in school, you can't cover everything, of course. But I plan to play that as well, so this sounds all very interesting. And that's, by the way, that's one of the things that I like about AtomRPG and Trudograd, so it's also a nice insight to a degree. I mean, okay, it's entertainment and stuff, but there are some insights to be had, yeah, in the culture to a degree, and you know, I appreciate that greatly. I do appreciate that. So, the flight was without incident. The village is occupied by the whites. And that's, by the way, so the whites were, you could say, the conservatives, the nationalists, while the reds, the Red Guard, they were literally the socialists / the communists. No? And like the whites were maybe also people, you know, who were actually more in line with the Tsarist system, yeah, with the monarchy. Yeah, just to categorize that in a nutshell. I mean, it's of course a little bit more complex, but yeah, just to know what this is about here. So the villages occupied by the whites greeted our flying machine with flak cannon and machine gun fire. But the brigade commander paid it no mind, instead using all his faculties to memorize the details of enemy fortifications and artillery batteries to later add to the battle map. All worked out in our favor at first, but as we circled the last village, a cloud of shrapnel hit us in the tail. It was then up to me to save our souls. I remember leveling out our falling bird and preparing for an emergency landing, but what happened then is difficult to recall. Vlad Ivanovich and I woke up on the ground, or rather on the ground, as by the time we opened our eyes, the aircraft had already sunk into the mud. No one knows how long we'd been lying unconscious, but the airplane had already stopped fuming from the jagged hole where the shrapnel had hit. Quite a flight, but what came later was even more memorable. As soon as the commander and I came to our senses and started pondering what our location was relative to the front, lo and behold, 4 horsemen appeared on the horizon, galloping in our direction. None of them looked to be of a proletarian bent. When they spotted us, they began whipping the horses mercilessly, and soon their rifled sabers and white guard uniforms were clearly visible, glaring in the midday sun. At once, I reached for my pistol, but my sidearm had been lost during the crash. I wonder why he didn't use a cord then. Yeah, but well. Comrade Turbine threw me a reproachful glance as he drew his own revolver. The Nagan's trigger is very tight, but if you hold it firmly, it's quite accurate. As the guardsman closed on us, he knocked one right off his horse. The rest immediately dismounted, laying flat on the ground and occasionally firing on us with their rifles as they crawled closer. The commander fired 6 more times and the cylinder was empty. This was some seriously bad news, since the revolver is a capricious weapon, and the Nagant especially. To reload one in the heat of battle is a task only for a man with iron nerve. The casings must be knocked out one at a time, and the cylinder rotated every time a chamber is refilled. The white guards, who probably discerned from the sound of the shots that they were facing a Nagant, decided to rush us with their sabers after the 7th shot went off. But our brigade commander always carried a second loaded cylinder in his pocket for such occasions. He knocked the old one out of the revolver, clicked the new into place, and met the attackers at point-blank range, immediately dispatching 2 from this mortal coil. The third counter-revolutionary dodged, and even managed to raise his sword for a blow, but a Kolotushki knuckle sandwich from yours truly took him down mid-swing. We took him prisoner, and a quarter of an hour later our cavalry arrived. Since then, our brigade received no more airplanes, and I served strictly on firm ground, shoulder to shoulder with my heroic brigade commander, until the last day of the war. Until the last day of the war? Early spring 19... Well, okay, so it's the Russian Civil War back then, huh? Yeah, okay. Well, interesting. And we got... Oh! Oh, and Hexogen also gets points. Yeah, excellent. And we got 50 points. Yeah, wow. Now that is glorious. And now we've got 103. Very nice. Allows attacking with stocks and handles of the weapons governed by this skill. Nice. Let's save the game. But we didn't get any experience. But it's fine. So. Well, and then... So that was... Oh yeah, and then the Flames of Revolution number 6. Flame of the Revolution magazine, issue number 7. 1st July 1932. Memoirs of Vasily Kolotushkin. On the Civil War and Brigade Commander Vlad Turbin Part 2. The following events happened at the end of spring 1919. Sunday morning found us on the porch of Brigade HQ, established in a simple peasant hut in the village of Little Geese. Our soldiers were crowding around a miniature, but very detailed, model of the village laid out in the yard, every house reproduced with pebbles and twigs. Furrows in the terrain symbolized trenches, and a few painted white matchsticks were deployed to represent our cannons and machine guns. Vlad Ivanovich was a man who enjoyed teaching with symbols and metaphors, like that one time he explained how to lay an ambush using a turnip. Now he was explaining the village defense plan with this little set of miniatures. There was a lot of information to convey, as according to our reconnaissance, the enemy planned to use 5 French armored cars, among other things, as part of their assault. The commander turned to how we should defend against these vehicles. We had 2 barrels of leftover airplane fuel from our unsuccessful maiden flight, so I came up with an idea to pour the fuel into several dozen bottles, stuff those bottles with rags, and thus create makeshift incendiary grenades. Vlad Turbin mulled this over quietly, then made up his mind. Vasily, you're something of an old hand at destroying combat vehicles. Just look at what you did to our plane. Grab 10 Red Army soldiers with decent hand-eye coordination and get training. I picked the best candidates for the job and led them to Petrov's tavern, where we appropriated every empty bottle we could find, filled them with water, and began the exercise. When water bottle chucking was second nature to the lads, we asked some local girls for their old dresses, towels, anything to make rags out of, and my future fireball thrower started lighting up gasoline-soaked fabrics in all manner of wind conditions. This went poorly until I glued a matchbox to every bottle to streamline the process. When this was done, I passed out 10 combat-ready cocktails to each of the men and assigned them to strategic positions on the village rooftops. The White Guard launched their attack the next morning. Thankfully, the high ground let me survey the whole field of battle as I was watching a war-themed motion picture. It didn't take long to spot the armored cars. One of the machines abruptly halted and began to emit black smoke. Hit by an artillery shell, I figured. Then a second one conked out in the same fashion, having run out of either fuel or the fighting spirit. The 3 that remained, however, rolled steadily towards our trenches and commenced firing their machine guns at our men at nearly point-blank range. That's when Vlad Ivanovich ordered everyone to fall back into the village. The armored cars took up the chase, so I descended from the roof to give them a warm welcome. As the first of the metal beasts turned a corner, I struck a match and threw my missile, not at the war machine itself, but at the spot it was about to roll over. When the bottle shattered, the underside of the engine was covered in flames and the windows blinded by clouds of thick black smoke. In less than a minute, the enemy officer scrambled out of his metal shell and ran for his life. He was in such a hurry he never even noticed that his pants were ablaze. In the meantime, The remaining 2 cars had been destroyed by my trained fire starters. Once the enemy had lost all their mobile units, Vlad Ivanovich ordered a counterattack and rushed the retreating White Guard platoon with a Bajonet strike force. This is how the defense of Little Geese ended. As for me, my heroic actions were highly praised by Vlad Ivanovich himself, who awarded me with a silver cigarette case and a new pair of pants, blood red, like the glorious banner of the revolution. Wow, now he got red pants. Well. And we get 50 points in throwing weapons. Now that is glorious. And now we've got exactly 250. Excellent. Critical hit chance with weapons governed by this skill increased by 5%. Nice. And if we were to upgrade this one to 299, attacks governed by this skill ignore 30% of armor and 100% of enemy dodge rating. Now, that is something. And this should actually probably increase our hit chance for the eyes as well, huh? If they can't dodge around. Excellent. Excellent. So, that's that. Then we have the Thug Life. Thug Life, issue number 19. Ust-Azursk, 15th of February 2004. So I caught a bullet. Whatever will you do? Shit like this happens in every thug's life. You meet a caravan on the way is offered to unload the merchant's cargo for him, but instead of agreeing to your terms, the son of a bitch and his crew decide to riddle you with holes from weapons of varying sizes and calibers. And so, instead of peacefully shoving the goods into your backpack while calculating how many shekels you're going to make, you start catching bullet after bullet, your health deteriorating as the assault goes on. Sound familiar? Well, check out the useful tips we've got lined up for you. This month's guest expert Mob Doc Evgeny Maltsov, aka Doolittle69, provides the following advice for anyone involuntarily receiving a bullet. Firstly, pick your weapon back up and shoot the fuckers who did this. This simple tactic will prevent the need to treat additional gunshot wounds and will save you some meds, which are pretty scarce in the wastes. Secondly, loudly inform your accomplices that you've been shot and that they urgently need to perform first aid on your sorry ass. If they don't hasten to do so, scream louder. Thirdly, experience shows that allies might pass you a package of Kasparamid to munch on. Don't be fooled. This is a temporary measure at best. Good thing is, Kasparamid is hella cheap. Bad thing is, it's hella lame and will make you weak and slow for a time. It's much more effective to wave your weapon around and explain to your battle brothers that it's in their interest to give you an army stimulant like FEN, which has a much better therapeutic effect and, moreover, leads to some sweet-ass tingling feelings and prophetic visions. Fourthly, don't forget to demand a first aid kit from your colleagues at the end of combat. These things are pretty rare but can easily be exchanged for up to 10 bottles of moonshine in the nearest village. Why moonshine? Cause no meds in the world will cure your mental wounds after the shit you suffered. We wish you luck in these difficult times, dear thug. Keep on thugging, and don't forget our next edition of Thug Life features the long-awaited articles by Smirtin Ayar, Professor of Mathematics. Correlation between bullying your target via combatants and your weapon's potential damage to said target. Interesting. Oh, first aid 50. Excellent, I love it. 200. And now we've got turns 15% of health points restored by stimulants and first aid kits into experience. 15% stronger healing effects from medical items. Removes the negative effects of stimulants except for the Dr. Death distinction. Turns 30% of health points restored by stimulants and first aid kits into experience. Oh yeah, nice. That was a good thing. The next one would be halves all negative effects from the use of BSF-12 and morphine. Oh yeah, and doubles all positive effects of BSF-12 and morphine in the end. Okay. Interesting. Then, and by the way, hexogen. Yeah, sorry, like there. Hex has 125 now. I wonder, like, if he had 200, I mean, he should actually get more experience as well, right? Well. Then, we've got Thug Life number 21. Thug Life, issue number 21, Uzazurk, 16th April 2004. Top 5 automatic weapons for attacking caravans. Ever since the private home addresses of our editorial staff have become public knowledge, thanks for that, by the way, Katya, I hope you fucking rot. We've received many letters from you, our avid readers. Some of them asked us to write an article about the pros and cons of popular automatic weapons. Such interest from the thug community is not mere whimsy. Caravans are much better protected nowadays than ever before, and the question of what piece to bring to a heist is very important. That's why our full-time research personnel, Matvey Pike and Vasily Losharek, ventured out into the wastes with a bunch of different weapons and gang members, and committed numerous armed robberies along the most popular trade routes. All this to once and for all decide which guns will be included in Thug Life's top 5 automatic weapons. 5th place of our soon-to-be legendary list is occupied by the rusty AK-47. This piece compensates for its unsightly appearance with cheapness and good killing power, which make it the best friend of novice caravan raiders. Another not obvious but still major pro are the frequent misfires. Arm your gang with rusty AK, seek them on those fat merchants and enjoy the view from a safe distance. With each misfire, the number of your accomplices will steadily decrease as your share of the loot simultaneously increases. 4th place in our hearts belongs to the AKMS, also known as the upgraded Kalashnikov assault rifle. Easy of use allows even the most butterfingered highwayman to handle this gun effectively, but its main advantage are the short bursts, which only use 3 rounds. The laws of the market say that the less ammunition you spend, the lower your costs and the greater your profits after all. 3rd place is held by the AKS-74U. Don't think it sucks just because it's lightweight and small. Baby size doesn't matter, especially if you're a dexterous thug who can mow down a target with 2 quick bursts before they can even get a finger on that trigger. This makes the AKS-74U the best choice for professionals and lone gunmen. Cheap ammunition only adds to its deadly chick. It's worth noting that Vasily Losharik considered the AKS-74U the best weapon in the wastes and demanded we put it in the number 1 spot, but since our other expert, Matvey Pike, is the senior of the two and stabbed Vasily during their dispute, we chose to leave this assault rifle right where it is. We granted 2nd place to the monster of the wastes, the amazing, the unique, the RPK, aka Kalashnikov machine gun, the modded version. This upgraded Kalashnikov ditches the bipod and top handle in exchange for a more comfortable grip, keeping your skin soft and hands flexible while cutting down hordes of caravan guards. The main disadvantage of this machine gun, according to our editors, is the scarcity of its 7.62 by 54 mm cartridges and the excessive power of the shot. That's why the Kalashnikov only made it to 2nd place. The 1st place of the top is occupied by, that's right, the PKK-74. The PKK's mean lower damage compared to the Kalashnikov is negated by its ease of handling and use of 5.45 mm cartridges, which can be found in abundance all across the wastes. This concludes our article. Be on the watch for our next thrilling issue. Chucking on F1 grenade at an enemy, then remembering you paid nearly 5,000 rubles for it at the market. How to hide your tears from the crew the right way. Interesting read, huh? Oh, and automatic firearms. Plus 50. Glorious. And now, our bursts are 10% more accurate. It allows attacking with stocks of the weapons governed by the skill. Weapons governed by the skill have a 9% chance to ignore armor. Experience for killing with the weapons governed by the skill increased by 15%. When firing burst, the stun chance increased by 25% and armor ignoring chance by 15%. That's great. And on the last level, it would be attacks governed by the skill ignore 30% of armor and 100% of enemy dodge rating. Okay. Very nice. What, also the dodge? Yeah, very nice. Very nice indeed. We feel quite educated, don't we? Okay then, and then... The Rivlin stories number 1, a fateful meeting. Let me just drink a sip of mineral water, refreshing and not radioactive at all. There. Trudograd's Literature Publishing House, 2005. Author, writer, poet, bard of the Grushinsky Festival, Y.A. Tsetskov. Recorded from first-hand Waste Dweller accounts. She returned at noon, stepping softly over the threshold. From the smell of lilac and gooseberries, Rivlin knew Yana had again been picking fruit in the garden. The sunlit air sparkled with glittering dust as she sat down on the chair by the window. Apples and gooseberries fell from the medic's slender hands, mixing with the silver bullets scattered on the polished tabletop, as Rivlin diligently loaded magazines for his AKs. The mutant hunter sighed as he gazed upon the girl's delicate features. After so many reunions and breakups, they were back together again. Completely unexpectedly, one might add. Perhaps this was according to some being's great plan, or maybe it was simply an accident. Nevertheless, the morning the girl's ambulance parked beside the god-forsaken Way of the Communist collective farm was the same morning Rivlin first set foot on its dusty streets. "How long are you staying?" Rivlin bit into the apple the medic had brought and continued pushing oiled cartridges into magazine. "One night at least. The bridge got washed away. The chairman has already sent a work crew for logs. I sent a paramedic and a driver to help, but they won't be able to make it back before dark. And you? I see you've already found a contract." "The chairman asked me to stay a little longer. Complained about some monster," Rivlin shrugged. "I need to check it out." What kind of creature appeared on the collective farm no one could really say, despite the hunter's many questions. The grey-headed chairman, Pavel Mitrofanovich, believed the cattle had been dragged into the woods by a blood-starved ghoul. Mitek, the watchman, stammeringly insisted he'd seen a man-eating myrmic the size of a bull. The milkmaid Daria swore the calves had been stolen by Lenin's mummy, which had somehow dragged itself there from Moscow. On only one detail did every witness agree: the mysterious predator came at night. Rivlin and Yana paused. The girl looked from the hunter, still loading his Kalashnikov, to the blades Rivlin had laid out in front of him. "Will it be dangerous?" "Don't worry, Yana, I'll deal with that mutant one way or another. If it is a mutant. This isn't my first buck hunt. Better make sure those farmers don't steal your ambulance. I'd move all the equipment and medicine into the house if I were you." Rivlin put down the assault rifle and examined the rest of his weapons. Knives, pry bars, an axe, and a saber he'd taken from a dead looter who'd been pillaging the Museum of the Napoleonic Wars. The mutant hunter wondered what melee weapon would best complement the AK that night. An axe? Its blade would break through any defense, but if the mutant was agile, an axe would be too clumsy. A saber? Rivlin suspected this was the best choice. He knew the curved blade would leave shallow slash wounds with no chance of snagging in the target's ribs or other catch points. However, if the mutant was covered by a shell or hard scale, such a light weapon would be inadequate. Having weighed all the pros and cons, Rivlin picked a tire iron. It was his favorite melee weapon and had saved his life numerous times. When he was satisfied with his equipment for the night's work, he looked meaningfully from Yana to the bed by the wall. With a broad grin, the medic embraced him. She agreed fully with his plans for the evening. The story continues in our second book, A Nightmare on Lenin Street. Is that so? So this girl agreed with the plans. That's always good if there's agreement. Melee weapons at 100, very nice. Experience for killing with the weapon governed by the skill increased by 10%. And I think now we can actually nicely use our... this one here has 70, yeah, that's good. We had the combat knife, didn't we? There's one here, yes, 65, yeah, nice. Interesting. I mean, we don't need to have the full... I mean, we are not as effective, of course. And this is 170, yeah. We don't need to be as effective, of course. But I feel we should definitely also just to speak of role-playing for a second, to see the animation. I think that would be pretty cool. So, and then the last one, before we go to this old diary. Trudograd Literature, Publishing House, 2005. Author, writer, poet, bard of the Grushinsky Festival, bomber gun champion, Y.A. Tsetkov. Oha, he's a bomber gun champion, Tsvetkov. Maybe we can find the guy. Recorded from first-hand Waste Dweller accounts. The red sun was slowly descending behind the thick canopy of communal fruit trees. Life went on as usual. Little Katya, the first person Yana met when her ambulance arrived at the farm, pranced along the street playing make-believe. The milkmaid Daria was busy tilling the ground in her yard. A drunken tractor driver rolled by, weaving down the road, and Pavel Mitrofanovich stopped by the porch to say that by tomorrow morning the bridge will certainly be repaired and Comrade Yana can drive off with all the comfort hard labor can provide. Peering at the setting sun, Rivling reminded the chairman that the farmers should tie up a lamp at the village council building and hide in their homes until dawn. Then Pavel Mitrofanovich left them. The mutant hunter sighed, went back into the house and, closing the door firmly, plucked a cut glass tumbler and 2 shiny bottles from his backpack, 1 vodka, 1 beer. Before starting a hunt, Rivlin always fortified himself with these 2 potent elixirs. The sun was already half hidden behind a black line of undergrowth. How weird is that? All the local men are returning to their homes for the night, but my boys are nowhere in sight, frowned Yana, checking her doctor's bag. I hope they didn't get their hands on any moonshine. The faceted glass froze in Rivlin's hand as a worrying picture began to take shape in his mind. A fallen bridge and a surprise contract to capture a strange mutant nobody had ever seen. It almost sounded as though the farmers just needed an excuse to keep Yana and himself in the village until nightfall. But why? The sun was almost set when Rivlin looked cautiously out the window. The inhabitants of the collective farm were all out there, standing on Lenin Street. Every single one of them. They stood in the shadows of the houses and under the trees. They were everywhere, and the rays of the fading sun did not fall. Behind Rivlin's shoulder, Yana let out a small gasp. What had been humble villagers during the day? What had been the chairman, Mitek, Daria, even little Katya, were now tall, swaying silhouettes entirely without facial features. The sun disappeared, and the silhouettes, which had been held back by its fleeting light, emerged from the shadows to line the wall of the street. They walked toward the house. They moved. Wrong. Some scuttled along sideways, some even walked backwards. They walked without moving their feet, like plastic figurines shifted by an invisible hand. Silently, slowly. And worst of all, the house's electric light frightened them not at all. The ghouls had no weapons, but when the foremost of them touched the gate, it fell on the grass as if its hinges had turned into wet sand. Time stopped. And then the monstrous crowd began to run. Rivlin pushed Yana into a corner and grabbed his assault rifle from the table. At the same moment, the door crashed off its hinges and the windows burst, showering the hunter with shards of glass. Rivlin answered with his gun. A deafening roar filled the house, and bullets pounded the silhouettes, trying to rush the room. Heavily, as if they were thudding against a tree, supersonic silver slugs slammed into the figures, causing them first to stop in place, then fall without a sound. Then the AK began mowing down the creatures clamoring at the windows. Then it clicked dryly. The empty mag fell to the floor, and the mutant hunter fumblingly reloaded his weapon, just as the creature's hands reached for the barrel. A few more short bursts tore through the unnaturally quiet night before the overheated gun finally jammed. A violent, heart-pounding melee was now inevitable. Rivlin cast about the room, and silently swore he would not allow any of the creatures to touch Yana as long as he drew breath. A few moments later, his fists, encased in brass knuckles, pummeled the heads of the approaching monsters. A blow to the temple was a quick and efficient way to incapacitate the supernatural opponents. For his next attack, however, Rivlin punched one of his foes in the throat, crushing it to the spine. One of the shadow people then grazed Rivlin's shoulder, causing him to involuntarily cry out. His arm felt as if it had been whipped with a lead rod. Dodging with difficulty, the hunter looked around for Yana. The paramedic was rummaging frantically through her gear. Rivlin shrugged, puzzled, and returned to containing the monsters. He became a storm of punches and kicks, following only a few simple rules as he smashed into the bloodthirsty mob. Blows only to the head or temple, or if that doesn't work, the cheekbone. With brass knuckles, he knew such attacks could easily down any person. Too bad he wasn't fighting people. After bungling a dodge and suffering another painful blow, Rivlin didn't even notice himself falling. From the floor, he looked up at Yana, praying she was safe. Alas, several of the fiends were lunging at her, and she did nothing to avoid them, instead trying to plug something into a wall socket. But in the next instant, the room was bathed in a blinding blue light, and the previously silent creature screamed like every engine in a firehouse blowing its siren at once. With a wild howl, they rammed and stumbled over each other, blindly scrambling to find an exit, while their pale skin charred to ash before Rivlin's eyes and drifted in layers to the floor. Standing in the corner, Yana triumphantly held up a portable quartz lamp, the kind doctors use to decontaminate a surgery. The blue bulb continued to flicker brightly, flooding the room with ultraviolet light. Still grimacing, Rivlin got to his feet and emptied the chamber of his treacherously jammed AK, and then, disgust and vengeance competing for control of his face, put a bullet in the head of each of the crazed monsters, all too tortured by the light to fight or even flee. When only the bruised hunter and Yana were left, and the last corpse had stopped twitching, the medic pressed herself against the wall, the lamp still raised in a trembling hand. Rivlin leaned next to her and finally lowered his Kalashnikov. "Hey, Rivlin, you got any more of those elixirs? I could really use one, or 5. Then let's siphon some gas from my ambulance and burn this place to hell." The mutant hunter grinned grimly. He agreed fully with her plans for the evening. The story continues in the 3rd book, The Dream Quest of Unknown Krasnoznameni, or The Dream Quest of Unknown Krasnoznameni. Who wrote this? Tsetkov. Does that ring a bell, anybody? Well, we do have martial arts now. Very good. We know Kung Fu. That is certainly a thing here. Experience for killing in hand-to-hand combat increased by 5%. Combo attacks available for bare fists and feet. Experience for killing with the attacks and weapons governed by the skill increased by 10%. Adds a head smashing and roundhouse attack for bare hands and feet. Attacks aimed at body parts are much more deadlier now. Head smashing and roundhouse attack, by the way. But with the gauntlet we can't do that. 1-2 punch aimed. Hammer? No. Do we have the roundhouse? Mawashi aimed. Dragon kick. I'm not sure, but maybe the dragon kick is actually the roundhouse. Well, so that was a lot of reading. But we are not done yet. Let me have another sip of water here. Also, it's good to do the reading right here, where it's cozily and warm. Maybe, well, we should have probably shut the door, huh? But, well. Ah yeah, there are Soviet propaganda posters, by the way. So, let's have a look. This diary... Or let's save the game beforehand. Did I do that, actually? So let's have a look. This looks mysterious. There, the first pages of the diary. Aha, the world map has been updated. The first pages of the diary are partially torn out or ruined. Number 12. The drunken ravings of the NEP men, fattened by the good life, had their own truth. The island is indeed located not far from our shores and is now called Teufelsteininsel, or Devil Rock Island, that's German, which makes me happy and fearful at the same time. On the one hand, I am quite close to the answer and triumph. So close that even the medieval Arab scientist Al-Khazirite would envy me. How foolish he was, spending half his life searching for this piece of land in the Mediterranean Adriatic when he was here all this time. On the other hand, there's reason for anxiety. Vlad Turbin took it upon himself to transform the local villages and deserted estates into a kind of city. At this very moment, his carts full of workers and building materials are returning here from their long journey. When they arrive, Silent Fishes, Rasdor, Little G's and the other settlements will be filled with the mongrel class of subhumans whose only reaction to occult research will be suspicion and savage animosity. I already see their incredulity in my mind's eye and anticipate their dull murmuring at the sight of my valise and robe, my talismans and rings. I must quickly find a boat and hire a couple of stout oarsmen. Interesting. So I think the guy might have just dressed up to impress the people there, huh? Or maybe to form a cult. This sounds like Marx. I think this totally sounds like Marx. Like someone, you know, like creating a snowball system so he doesn't need to work himself. And he can be the leader of a cult and have the people work for him, I guess. Well, number 13. Thousands of curses. My voyage to Teufelstein Island was postponed due to the rising storm, which, however, brought some interesting discoveries. In particular, I was able to spy among the raging waves the so-called Skull Rock. The moment my gaze first fell upon this grotesque outcrop, carved by eons of erosion, if not by the influence of less natural forces, lines from the legendary Pnakotic manuscripts leapt to mind. These cuneiform tablets that even in ancient times the inhabitants of the sands that buried Uruk and vanquished Atlantis considered artifacts. And so it was that the greedy Magus, whose name was cursed and buried beneath the icy peaks of Fnahitna, blinded each of his slaves. But in truth, even then he was not the only one able to gaze upon the floating palace of Mother Hydra. Indeed, from the distant waters to the shores of the sacred island, a gigantic stone skull, placed here when the world was still young, gazed down also. Number 14. Triumph. Oh, what a triumph! The sea has calmed, the fearsome waves now gentle ripples. We sail at midnight. I must not forget the ritual. I must not forget the words that, the next few lines are illegible, any mistake is comparable to 1,000 painful deaths in the subterranean waters of the Abzu, on whose bony ridges, according to von Junst, most of the local stab rests. Olé! Oh yeah! Is it yeah? No, it's yeah. Shub Nigurat, the mother of all who has chosen the earthly firmament for her home, let your son see the abyss beyond, but fall not into it, and deliver my sober mind from a blinding madness. Yeah, Azar thought, sleeping despot of a host of seething galaxies, eternal star-faced sultan of cosmic fear, may the instrument of your peace, hidden in my travel bag, not fail me at the moment of performing the song. Yeah. Eternal wanderer, cruel pharaoh, Nyala Thortap, friend and deceiver of the timid gods of earth and the other gods, who took upon themselves the yoke of the weakling's protection. I appeal to you. Let the poison of your favorite fungi, which I will ingest when I go ashore, push my mind through the split in reality, but not slay my corporeal form. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, we were to eat a mushroom in some ruins, right? Ah, the ruins of the factory. Let's not forget that. Oh my god. If I forget it, please try and remember it for me, and it would be great if you could write a comment to remind me. That would be good. So, remembering eating a mushroom inside of the factory. The oars have ceased striking the water. The invisible current alone carries us to shore. The following pages have been roughly torn away. Okay, well. Global. Not sure what that is. That sounded like an island, but it's not here. Well, I guess we will find out. Well then. So, we feel well trained, well educated. Knowledge is power, as we know. And Hex also profited nicely from this. He's got 250 now. He's also good with the melee weapons. So his strength 6, ours is 8. I feel I'd like to try out this one. Let's have this, although it's 170. But let's try this. By the way, we never looked at it, huh? Wow, yeah. That's actually pretty cool. Chop, push, swing. Well, give way to the young, as they say. Okay then, so that's the library. I really like that they have a place like this. Then let's check out the area over here. What was this here? There was a lady living somewhere here, right? But I don't know exactly. Are there? Who was this guy? Ah yeah, the former Grandmaster, okay. Look, no offense, man, we can play again if you want. The former Grandmaster doesn't deal well with defeat. He pretends not to see us. I'm not offended at all. I just don't feel like playing right now. He sighed passionately. Alright? Yeah, okay, it's fine. Then we just go away. Can you close your own door? Probably not. So let's do it for him. There, because we want to be polite, and it's, you know, in this time and age, it's good to not waste any energy here. Oh, there's a generator. Like, I actually need to be more careful lest I get fried by the current. Oh yeah, okay. Could it be that this here was where this lady was living? Well, if we ever need empty bottles, then this is the place to go. Ah. Hey there. Oh, Hexogen. Come on. Come, Hex. Come. So. There. I really like the details here. Oh, and well, he's actually like, he's smoking while working on the fish and all that, and everything is lying there together, huh? Well. But I guess it's better than nothing, huh? Do you want a snack? That won't be a problem here, because I got food. Okay, well, let's see. We already sold everything. And the Siggies, that's a worse price. So yeah, let's just hold on to everything else. Like, we don't have so much of that stuff. And I'd rather hold on to what we have. This is the Morning in the Forest candy. Rumor has it that the conflict between the Kaliningrad Republic and Novgorod occurred because of the right to own a warehouse with a strategic supply of these sweets. Well, endurance and dexterity. What's the other one there? Aralcum candy, smashed waffles, chocolate fudge, granulated sugar, and cacao butter, which are part of this candy. Just hearing those words can result in involuntary salivation for most of the Wasteland dwellers. It's the same. Well, maybe later. We could eat that before the... Well, but on the other hand, like... We fared rather well. Who's setting operational headquarters for skilled adventurers? Me. Or the headquarters, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, here. Hello, Katarina. The woman seems to be busy, but smiles politely at you. Hello again, I see you've taken a shine to our products. Yeah, just dropping by. Can I ask you some questions? I'm listening. No, any new rumors? Unfortunately, I can't help you with this. Okay, then. Bye-bye. Have a nice one. Oh, yeah, here. Oh, yeah, there. Well, Vil, you want to buy some stuff, huh? Welcome to my humble treasure house. Shall we trade? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, you've got a... Oh, yeah, very good. Clothes, general, and medicine. So that's what we hoped. However, we didn't... We already sold everything else, but we shall return and then we can sell you some stuff. Yeah, actually it's not wise to sell anything right now. What was this again? The optical module. Oh, can we put that into the helmet? Is that possible? No. Not this helmet, though. Well, Vil, I think... this fang from a big carnivore makes a handsome talisman. Maybe we should hold on to that stuff. But the ski hat, yeah, we already sold everything. Let's hold on to the gas mask, because who knows, maybe we are getting through some form of field or so. Ushanka, oh yeah, the knit cap is actually worse than the ski hat, right? Yeah, so then let's sell that. And I feel that we should hold on to the glasses, actually. And I should also, like, I mean, okay, it's possibly not necessary to maximize like this, but let's still wear the fur hat for +5 barter. Vil, my friend, I brought you something nice. Look at this. Oh yeah, here in the flat cap. Look at this, a beautiful flat cap. And here, a cozy... oh, by the way, is he actually... that's also not the best price. I think 62 or whatever, but well, whatever. Here, the knit cap for 125. He doesn't have any mushrooms, by the way. Yeah, well, I feel we should hold on to everything else, just in case. We could sell the books, of course. We could resell the books. Let's actually compare that with the guy. So the Rivelin Stories is 302, and this is 360. Number 7 is 302 and 360. Let's compare that. 302 and 360. That was number 7, right? Yeah. So the other guy's prices are way better. Oops, let's rather not fall down there. Yeah, we can just sell it. Then we also we don't have We don't have to carry the books around. Well, and also, that's the social aspect. Then someone else can read them and profit from the knowledge, right? So Rivlin stories, Thug Life 21, Aurora, Hunters at Rest. Yeah, that's not this one here. Thug Life number 19. The Flames of Revolution. Flames of Revolution number 8. 7 and 8. So I would think that there's probably I don't know it for sure, for certain, but I would think that there's one book, and because otherwise it's probably a lot of skill points, but who knows? But I'm still not going to push our skills to the maximum yet. Oh, by the way, that's way too much. He doesn't have so much money. Revolution 7-8. This year's 19 and 21. The Nightmare on Lenin Street. Oh, let's keep this one then. 130. Yeah, well, then Thug Life. Let's sell the Flames of Revolution. Although this might make Hex sad, but we'll see. Trading, there you go. So, and then was there anything here? I think that was the other one where this kind of scared girl or lady was living. Yeah, they had. Well, this is like a very cool penthouse here. Hello there. The young woman watches us warily, retreating deeper into the building just in case. Well, what are you doing here, huh? Oh, excuse me, I guess I'm in the wrong place. It's just that, hey, maybe we should get acquainted. I don't talk to strangers. If you say so, scratching the back of our head, then I guess it's a goodbye. Okay, well, that's so sad. Hey, you could just walk around me. Well, by the way, technically we are not strangers anymore, right? Or well, we could introduce ourselves, but well. Then let's leave her alone. I don't want her to be scared. That's bad for our karma. By the way, what kind of plants are these? Some form of peace or some alien stuff, huh? So. Oh, by the way. Oh, cool. Here, these are the mods. We have the mods on the axe. That's very cool. Okay, then. So, let's get the building. Let's get the building. Let's buy it. So, otherwise, I think I didn't overlook anything. Here, Hamza. Hey, good day. Do you want anything in particular? Well, I remember you offering me a house. I'm selling a private residence suitable for a wealthy bachelor. Don't hesitate on a deal like this. Only 2,000 rubles. Well, come on. Real estate prices are falling, so I'll give you 1,000 for it. 1,000? I can't go that low. Well, I'll be back. Just wait. So what was it? We needed to have also 250 in barter, right? Or at least 200, I think. 200. Merchant's cash increases by 100% on 200. Yeah, but actually I don't want to break the economy. So let's rather keep our points, and we have quite some money here already. And we are also not going well, we are not really going out of our way, but we are not going out of the way of any fight. So, well, then let's just pay it. So, I'm buying. The man snatches the money from our hand, plainly relieved. Oh, congratulations on your purchase. This is your new headquarters. He indicates the location on our map. Only you'll need to clean up first. Take care of that and I'll help you with the repairs. Good luck. Hey. Stop, where are you going? I'll be around as soon as you see that you've taken, as soon as I see that you've taken care of everything. I'll come running to serve you. Well, who said that we want you as a servant, by the way? But well, you said something about me needing to clean up. Explain. Well, see, the place, it's not very clean, and it really needs a once-over before starting renovations. What do you mean about it not being clean? And somehow I feel like you're not being totally honest, bro. Let's be clear. Is there a gang hiding out on this stage? How would we think that? So, yeah. Are you really honest there, Hamza? No, you must be imagining things. I'm just a little chilly. You see how my teeth are chattering. Well, come on, let's be clear. Is there a gang hiding out on the estate? The man opens his mouth as if to object, but without a word snaps it back shut and waves his hand. You got me, boss. Big Jug's posse kicked me out of the house and made it their base. Before that, they used to ambush lonely passerby in Grey Corner, but the knave gang drove them out and one thing led to another. Wow. Are you trying to get your prospective home buyer killed? Big Jug gang? Who are these clowns? Got it. But why didn't you tell me right away? We could give this liar a long, stony look. Yeah, I mean, how can we trust him now that... and he wants to work for us. That's a very bad start for a working relationship. See how good it feels to tell the truth? Oh yeah, I think we want... Yeah, let's say this one here. See how good it feels to tell the truth? Yeah, sure, later is far better than never. Yeah, but why didn't you tell me right away? Because then there was a chance you turned down the deal, and I'm in desperate need of a job, a cushy job, like estate manager. Well, tell me at least about the Big Jug gang. Those clowns. Well, ordinary thugs, mostly northerners. Like I said, they used to rob people in Grey Corner, but the local competition, the knaves, didn't tolerate them for long. After gang war, Big Jug and the remnants of his brigade fled. Stumbled upon my house, and you can guess the rest. Okay, fine. I'll let you go now. Okay, well, this is, however, this is probably the wrong time to try out the axe. Because we should rather have something for a distance. Although I really don't like to be blinded like this. Can we actually do anything else here? No. But we had these spikes, right? And now we could use this one here nicely. 3, 4, 4. Four, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5. Yeah, I mean, like, in case something goes wrong, we should shoot the RPD, of course. So, yeah. But I think we should rather have a Kalashnikov there. And Hex, you get the AK-47, so... And the good thing is, the Stechkin is under better control now. Pistols at 105%. Okay then. And should we actually or their abilities? Oh yeah, but 3 points only. Yeah. We wanted to invest it differently. Eye Gouger. Eye shots have additional 5% a crit chance. Only crossbow. Bad day, burning enemy loses 10% of their armor if you attack them with a grenade. Sapper. Primed explosives do not go off in the inventory. Yeah. Okay then, by the way, there's a new quest. Headquarters. Household chores. Well, now I own a private house in Trudograd. Might be worth visiting it. Yeah, we are going to make that a priority. mystery island at Trudograd docks. In an old diary I found a reference to an island not far from Trudograd. It's called Teufelstein. Sounds like a curious place. If I want to visit, I need to talk to a ship's captain in the docks. Once we have our HQ, we should probably move our stash from the hotel room there. From Solzhengrad with love. Sherba told me everything he knew. Vasma shared some information with me. Some things that he told me could be interesting to put up. Some not as much. Trubortyov told a story about Kai Ozersky. I need to tell it to the journalist Potap, who's sitting in the infamous Mikhailov's tavern. Yeah. Okay, well. Oh. Failed quest. Horrible. So, however, looking at the time, I think we've made some very nice progress. We learned a lot today. We read a lot of books. That was really good for our brain. And, well, I think... Oh, by the way, let's actually get some... Yeah, we are... Like, isn't it warm here? No, it's not really warm. And is it warm here? Hello there, you don't mind, like... Oh, there's no one here. That we are, like, standing in the living room. Why is it so dirty? Why are they throwing everything on the floor, I wonder? Well... So, but we'll continue next time. So, I hope you enjoyed this one. I certainly did. I really begin to love this game even more and more by each episode. And yeah, well, then we'll continue next time. See you then, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you never ever miss an episode again. And, well, the comment section is all yours. Please don't hesitate to share thoughts. See you next time. Bye-bye.